All right, y'all. My name's Bruce, and this is my introduction to Power Game Factory. I noticed that there were not really uh, not many videos on YouTube or anywhere else describing this software, and it's pretty massive. So what I'm going to do is introduce it and go through the parts, and also show off the game that I'm working on, which is my first full video game, and I'm happy with how it's coming along. And I really like Power Game Factory, I like working in it. So this is my introduction. All right, it's Power Game Factory is made by Sawblade Software, www.sawbladesoftware.com. It runs on Macintosh computers. There's not a version for Windows, and it says on the site that there will not be one, so don't get your hopes up, although there are similar packages for Windows. And this is the basic interface. When you open up Power Game Factory, you see your beginning level. This is one of the 5 levels that I have started in this game. They're all connected by these zones that you see outlined in red there. These hot zones, if you click on them, you can see where it takes you. This hot zone here takes you to level 3. All the backgrounds are built with tiles. Power Game Factory supports several different background scenarios. Tiles are what I'm working with because they are lightweight and you get a lot of mileage out of one small image. This is one tile, and it's the background for half of my levels so far. To edit the tiles, you click tiles here and go into tile mode, and you can see your selection of tiles that you have to work from over here on the left, and your tile editing window. So if I wanted to insert say a small room in the middle of this dark mass, I would choose this empty tile here. Fill in 9 spaces like that. And then I would go through and with these corner tiles that I made, go through and replace each side with sort of a half tile. So I'll be nice and clean on the edges, and also the edges won't meet up against the lines of the background tiles, which gives it one level at least of subdivision. Almost done. Make this room square. Okay, so now we have a basic room added to our level with a couple other blocks in there for interest. And there would be no way for the player to get to this room right now because it's all blocked in. And the way that we make it blocked in is with the mask feature. This is pretty wild. Basically mask your background with these little blue blocks, solid material, empty space, or ledge material. And you can fill your areas with solid material just like that, really, really fast. Really efficient system for doing it. I don't know if it shows in the video, but these are semi-transparent, so you can see behind the little blocks to what you're editing, which is a very nice improvement in the beta, which is the version that I'm using now. So now this room is hollowed out. All my other spaces are hollowed out. I like to give one block on my edges to keep things from being real cramped. Um, a lot of that is finishing touches kind of work because these levels can change a lot while you're working on them, and you never know what you're gonna do later. But generally speaking, having a one block gap is nice. Lets the player and characters overlap just a little bit. Alright, and I'll go back later and get anything else that isn't there. And then back in normal mode, you can see the level, and this little guy represents my player. I can put him anywhere to start the level, usually next to the door where he came in is a good idea. The camera indicates where the camera is going to be when the level starts, and it's nice to put him next to the player, or you can put the camera on the other side of the map entirely and give your player a preview of what's to come, because when the level opens up, you'll see a zoom across the whole level to the player's location. So that's really your choice aesthetically, how you want to do that. The player and all the characters have attributes that can be accessed by clicking on them. You see player start location properties, standard player. If I click edit, I go into the player types menu, and standard player is basically the player set that came with the software that I've modified for weight and gravity and jump speed and all that kind of stuff. There are a lot of properties for the player and for all the characters, and you can spend a lot of time adjusting them. That's a warning ahead of time. It's very fun. It takes forever, and it takes about half to a tenth as long as it would to program it all with code. So making a game in this is a big job, and it's fun, but it's a big job. Okay, back to the software. You can see here general parts flying as a little animation I made for the blood type. I don't actually have that working now, so I'm not going into it. But additional properties would describe what my player can do. He can affect particles, airborne acceleration multiplier. That means it shows how fast, and there's a readout whenever you click on one of these. The in-game help is fantastic. Determines how fast the player can change his horizontal momentum while moving through the air. So this sort of gives you a little bit of control mid-air with your player, which is pretty nice to have depending on how you have your level set up. Airborne deceleration multiplier, bleeding resistance, bounciness when hitting ground, can fly even without a flying power-up, can ride on platforms. The list goes on, and each of these variables pretty dramatically affects how the game plays. So adjusting them is kind of a painstaking process, but it's really fun to see the results immediately when you play your game. So these are all just the settings for my character. Any other character in any game would differ a lot, and this guy is going to differ a lot by the time this is an actual published, built game, for sure. The premise of my game is this small robot is on a starship loaded with cryogenically frozen people, and they made no precautions whatsoever to deal with alien life because they did not believe that there were aliens. And sure enough, as soon as they get out of the solar system, they just get housed. And our little guy is the only defenses they have. So he wakes up in a closet, and the hordes are on him. In fact, that's level 1, which is Over here, it's a little bit more fleshed out and has some enemies in it. And this is level 1. This is the broom closet I'm having him wake up in. He can go this way and face an onslaught. These guys are pretty vicious, and it takes them a long time to die. I made some rules for my game just to start with to keep things simple. I decided, like you can see, it's all black and white, which is fun, and I don't see a lot of games that are black and white, so why not? These little guys hover along the roof and shoot multiple. Why don't I just show you? Let me see how this works. I'm recording some gameplay. So you can hit test game anytime. It'll save your project and do a quick build that gives feedback when routines are performed and when I don't know if you can hear that music. That's my placeholder music, but I'm not recording system audio, so maybe it won't come through. This is my splash screen. Of course, it's very dull right now. It's going to get better, but anyway, I have this game hooked up to a iShock controller, so I'm playing with Nintendo controls. Okay, the only reason it's pausing there is because this is a test build of the game. All these sounds are the sounds that came with Power Game Factory. I have not changed them out yet. I look forward to it. They kind of, they're not my favorite, but they weren't supposed to be, so. Okay, I'm going to try to kill these guys. It's not really going to work. Okay. As you can see, I can jump. This is a force field that pushes me and all these bugs in this direction and into his waiting jaws. See, I've died. It's not super easy, this game. Those guys are virtually impossible to kill. I just put them up there to harass you. These guys come after you, and they're pretty accurate. I've got this homing weapon. One thing I don't like about it is it's a little dark, so I'm going to adjust that very soon. I'm just getting killed left and right here. This has a wall jump feature. So as you can see, you can kind of wall jump up. Dead again. Anyway, that's a quick gameplay video. I'm not going to keep on playing. Actually, let me travel a little bit. I'm going to go open this door. This connects to the next level, which is a little less hairy. Here's my guy again. You can see I can aim up, back and forth. He's got a little animation going there. His little legs need a little bit of work, but I picked very small sprites. These are messages that I put in. Go find the captain, it says. So I'll go to the next level with these few goodies that I have. Okay, you saw I fell straight through that. It's because I did not complete the masking on this. So even though there's a platform there, I'm not landing on it. So let's go fix that. There's no reason to save because this is not a proper game yet. Alright, in order to fix that, we got to go to the level that it's on, which I think is level 5. I think. Maybe it's level 2. the idea is that this is a massive, massive starship, and it's just full of nonsense. Um, Lots of little rooms and jump pads, and basically just open areas that this little robot can do battle with a whole bunch of aliens. My idea is that this will be mini games, so I'll release maybe 5 levels at a time in a serial format, like old movies from the 20s. You know, end with a cliffhanger, and hopefully in a couple months sell another 5 levels for some kind of cheap price, $5 or whatever. Um, you know, so it's truly independent game making. You know, I'm just partnering with software makers and nobody else. You know, so that's a pretty neat endeavor. Um, this still isn't the right level. One thing I don't like is it doesn't allow you to name your levels in this window at least, and you have to get your stuff right straight off the bat because there's no switching around levels. I can't change level 4 to be level 2, etc. It just doesn't happen like that. Okay, so this is our problem area. This is the platform that we couldn't get on. If I go to mask, you can see why it's just empty. Um, if I choose ledge material, I can quickly just fill that right up. A little bit under the mark is nice because it makes the character look like he's standing on the platform and not hovering over it, which is a little bit unnatural. I just drew all this stuff in last night, and I have not masked it at all. I'm not going to mask the whole thing, but you can see the basic process. And you're basically just building a world, you know, any kind of world you want. This is all inside right now, but I hope to do outside levels soon and, um, you know, get out on a planet surface and down into caves and everything that was ever cool about all those old platformers is possible in Power Game Factory. And that's what's so amazing is the gameplay is fun. It's very fun. It's not slow, not kind of fun. It's very fun. And by changing the graphics and the messages and the feel, you can build really any kind of game within the spectrum of 2D platformer that you would like. I was thinking the other day that you could build a you know, Defender style game with this by applying a constant force to a ship character. So we got an ugly spot there. That doesn't work at all. So you can immediately go over to tiles and just repair that. And I think if you're organized about how you put your tiles in here, it makes it a little bit quicker to build this stuff. I was only semi-organized, and sometimes I have to search for the right tile, but it's actually enjoyable. So as soon as I do that, I can go back to mask and block in the last little sections that are there. All that. Alright, that looks about right. Oops, this little guy. and a couple little lines. Alright, that should work great. Let's go to normal. Let's see this again. Okay, these guys are just going to be on us from the time we start. So, looks like that's not really possible to get up here. I don't know if we can do that. So we can add a ladder by clicking animated scenery. The default one that comes up are these brooms, but I can just go over here and click on ladder and it becomes a ladder. So we should be able to climb up that. Let's make it a double. I haven't tried this before, ever. It seems like you could go from one ladder to another. Maybe jump over. Oh, we'll see. Alright, that at least gives us something to test out and see if we can run around and get around on all this stuff. Let's quickly hit test again. There's many options. There's ammunition, there's power-ups, all kinds of power-ups, flying ability, health pickup, different weapons, laser beams, homing weapons, spreader guns, basically the whole arsenal of classic video game weaponry is right in there, and it's available to tweak to your heart's content. So there's our ladder that we just put in there. So, oh, we can do it. You know, that's nice. So you can see their shots don't go through the solid material. They're down there angry as hell, just shooting away at me. I can fall down, battle them if I want. I'm dead. That's the default death sound that came with Power Game Factory. Also, I'm going to be switching out very soon to save some very funny things, hopefully. Wall jumping is tricky. But it's a good way to get around once you get the hang of it. I'm going to have to tweak that so it's more fun and more playable for sure, you know. I don't want people angry at me. His little climbing motion is just a little 2-frame cycle reversed. That's a flying pickup that lets us fly. So we can go all the way up here. Again, none of this stuff is masked in, I think. Yeah, it's not masked. So anyway, that's our basic gameplay so far. Let's quit again. Okay. Up here we have the list of levels. That's the default area that we're in. This is character sets, which is all of our different sets of bad guys. These first few came with Power Game Factory, and I keep them there as an empty template. But they are not used in the game. They're not referenced anywhere. I've got a bad guy called Blob, one called Bug One. Those things on the top are called eggs. These are laser mountings that I was experimenting with, trying to make a laser targeting system. It sort of worked. The health bot is a little beast that I made to follow the player and heal him. And as per the advice I got on the forums of Sawblade Software, which is a really interesting idea. Instead of a health pickup, you've got a little robot that follows you and shoots beams of health at you and helps you out till he gets killed. Just neat. Adds another dimension to the game for sure. Next to character sets, we have player sets. This is my main player. This is his idle animation. You can see by clicking through the frames. To edit him, you just double click on the image and you get this little window. And Power Game Factory has an entire image editor built right in. It's fantastic to use. It really is nice and simple and keeps you focused on the end product. And all the masks are available and previews are available of your character right in there. You can flip through the different frames to see how he's looking, which is wonderful. You can play. And that lets you see how your animation's looking. Which is just super nice. And you have animation cycles for all of these different sequences, which, like I was saying before, you can spend a lot of time doing this. Aim left is his default standing there. That's mirrored if he turns right. And there's an incremental transitional frame that shows turning left, just sort of a halfway mark. So that shows him turning. Aim left Excel is him running. So I don't have a super animation there, but it's decent enough. It looks like he's just sort of silly little cartoon. This is him dead, lying down on the ground. He fades out when he gets killed. This is halfway, him dying. That's him falling back, falling and dying. I have not gone in and done all of these. I just have placeholders in a lot of places. This is him aiming up. It's attacking left, attacking up, climbing. Like you can see, that's the climbing sequence. Nothing to it. Just 2 frames back and forth, and he climbs real nice. So, from all of these, you have a full animation for your character, and the more frames that you put in, and the more sequences you think out, the more personality your character will have. It's a puppet show, and these are the motions that he knows in the show. So, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it there. I think animation is its own art form, and you could spend a lifetime developing your animation skills. We also have an area for the interface, which gives you all the basic features of the project. Basic game behavior. This is our main menu. If I want to bring in another image, I can. If I want to switch this around, I just drag and drop these. Like I say, all of these images are editable within Power Game Factory now, which is fantastic. You don't have to open Photoshop. You don't have to go into anything else. It's all right there, which is fantastic. The game credits, the logo. I'm proud to say this was made with Power Game Factory. It's an incredible software. The icon, which will be what you would see in your dock. And I have some other software to make one of these, so I'll be on that pretty soon. Do a 3D rendering and make that the icon. This is the intro cutscene, which is very neat. You can just drag a QuickTime movie in here and have an intro movie for your game, just like those old classic games did. And I don't have anything in there yet, but you can be sure I will. Sound collections, startup music, pause game sound, message pane opening, camera shutter sound, button click sound, unpause game, message pane closing. The additional properties is where we find everything like the frame rate, the name of the game, the randomness of the game, which affects all the variables apparently. Number of lives the player starts with, points needed to earn an extra life, all these different features. And, these make a big difference to how your game plays, and each one is very tweakable. So I think you can make a lot of different kinds of games from this software. And this is our status bar, health display. This is the animation I made for the health display. And you can see as the health goes up, so do these little bars. And the same when it goes back down. And this gray in the mask makes it semi-transparent, so you can see through the health display, which is really beautiful. Very clean way of doing all this. These are the numbers, and large numbers and small numbers, that I basically adapted from the numbers that came with Power Game Factory, and I just made them black and white and rounded some of the corners off and tweaked them just a little bit, but that's just a modification of the numbers that came with the software. This is the map view. It's a little blinking cursor when you bring up the map. Other displays: game over, time up, pause, everything that's going to come up on the screen is accessible through here. The locations of the icons for the weapons, which is something I'm still working out. I'm thinking about not even having them on the screen at all, just to have the cleanest possible interface. But we'll see how that goes. There's a lot to tweak. And click here, go to items. So we have our power-ups. This is an ammo pack for our laser beam. This one for the spreader gun, grenade launcher, homing gun, and standard gun. These are the lamest ammo packs ever, and I just did it as placeholders, basically, so I could have something that was nice and black and white and didn't look too bad, but I'm sure that'll get tweaked a lot before the game is finished. Go here, we have weapons. I wanted the player to have one weapon, and these would be different chips that would allow different features of his gun to work, rather than have him switch through many weapons, and that's part of what I'm working out with the display. This is the grenade launcher. I don't have an icon for that. That's the default one that came with the Power Game Factory. Same with the laser weapon there and all of these. So some of those need to be switched out still. And then these items all have sound collections, and Power Game Factory supports several different sound formats. These are all the weapon types. standard gun, homing gun, grenade launcher, spreader gun, laser weapon. Shows what type of projectile they use, shell casing, many, many variables for everything. This is the projectiles window. And rocket, homing bullet, standard bullet, shrapnel chunk, grenade, smoke particles, spreader bullet, parts flying. That's my blood bit. Laser beam, snowball. When you choose laser, you get to see all these different features. Is it a laser? How thick is it? How long? How many pixels does it go? Delay before disappearing, etc. It's all customizable, of course. And then there's this miscellaneous window, which has the shell casings, which I adapted again. Contrails, which are the puffs of smoke that come from the weapons and from grenades and explosions and that type of thing. Landing impacts, that type of thing. And then this is the music collection for the level. And you would load all of the sounds that you want to use in the game into this, and then you can access them from other areas. That's more or less everything in Power Game Factory. It's a full suite of game production tools, and if you have the inclination and the patience, you can, whether you are 10 years old or 100, you can be the creator and designer of a video game, and a good video game. It only builds for the Macintosh platform, which is both a limitation and, as I see it, a very special thing, because very few software packages cater specifically to the Macintosh, and this is one of the best. Thanks for your time and checking it out, and I hope this gets more people to look into Power Game Factory, and I want to see more videos. So thanks very much. My name's Bruce. See you later.